Okay. Are we're still waiting for some more people to join us, right? We're still waiting for one or two people to join us. However, I think we should all just continue with the introduction of everyone. I see Rebecca. She works for LEN. She's a project officer. I see Mary. She works with Olushokolari Coaching Academy as a CES. Myself, I am one of the moderators for today. And Mary Abaje is another moderator that will be working with me throughout the duration of this. Where's Mary? Mary, I can see you there. Mary, give us a smile. Hello, hello, how are you?
Hi, good evening.
I see Kushimo Adeyemisi. She's a member of Nigeria Girls Guide Association. Where's Kushimo? Give us a smile. Say hello, Kushimo.
Is Mr. Kundayo still there?
Yeah, I think Sochi is finding it difficult to connect to here.
Okay.
And that's
Kindly mute your mic, please. Okay. Mary.
Sochi, can you hear properly now? Sochi,
yes, I can. I before, it was just everybody's voice was just overlapping each other.
Oh, okay, but you can hear properly now.
Okay, and also it seems like we have lost Mrs. Secondary somewhere. It's like maybe a network is bad. Okay. However, maybe Mary, if you can just take on from here while she tries to connect, if that's fine with you.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Mary, and you're welcome to In Conversations with Learn. So I think I've just seen just a few people who have responded to introducing themselves. For no, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes. Okay, so if you're on here and you can hear me, we'd like to see you. I'm hearing so many people talk.
Okay, it seems like Mrs. Secondary is back. I can see her.
Oh,
I'm back.
Okay. All
right. It's all right. Mary can. Sorry about that. Sorry, just had a little bit of a hitch there. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this platform where we will be discussing about Nigeria and the way to move it forward. And the youth are very, very instrumental in helping to move Nigeria forward. Should we still wait for one or two people, or should we carry on? Should we just carry on and they can join us?
I think we should carry on in questioning the author and just continue to wait for other people to join us as more people are introducing themselves. So we should just start a conversation with the author.
No, we can't. We're going to start with the national anthem first. Shall we do the national anthem, the second stanza now? Hello? There's somebody with a lot of background noise. Can you mute your...
I'm just going to check that.
I think the noise is coming from
Hello? Who is that person with the background noise? Okay, so I would like every one of us now. I think there's only about 3 people that we're waiting on. I think they can join us, you know, when we get here. Let's just do the second stanza of the national anthem, please, every one of us. Are we ready?
Yeah.
What do you say? Are we ready? Are we ready?
Creation and guide our leaders right. Help you truth to know. In
love and honesty
to growth,
to grow and lead just and true.
great love
Love to have attained
to build a nation where
peace
and
and
justice shall reign.
Give yourselves a round of applause. I think we deserve a round of applause for that. Well done everyone. Well done everyone. Okay, let me start by welcoming you all to this program, this forum. This is a forum that has been put together to activate, encourage, and stimulate and motivate our youth to move forward to building a better Nigeria that will be conducive for all of us to live in. The aim at the end is to get everyone doing their bit to build a better Nigeria. The aim at the end is to get every one of us doing our bit to build a better Nigeria. So this is why we've all gathered here. And this forum is not just for us to talk and talk. There's so many talks going around and then just leave it at that. This forum is to get things activated, get things moving so that we can start building that Nigeria that we all want to see. I hope you all agree with me.
Yes, please.
Nobody else is answering apart from Chin. Why? You don't agree
everyone
with me?
Is muted.
I can't
everyone else is muted.
everybody because
Please unmute your speakers, please. Unmute your speakers, please, so we can all get. This is going to be a very interactive. It's going to be a very interactive forum. It's not going to be just me talking. Everyone is going to get involved. Everyone. I can see Sochi just looking at me like.
I'm listening.
We are all going to get involved in this. Now, Chinasa is the author of the book that is being showcased here. That is going to be the foundation of our discussion. She has done a very good job. I think we should all give her a round of applause. She deserves it. Well done, Chinasa. Well done. Well done. She's an example for all of us to follow. Now, I am just going to have like 10 minutes with Chinasa to find out the reasons why she wrote this book, because not everyone can just sit down and love their country and think about, oh, I want a better Nigeria. So Chinasa, hi Chinasa, hello, good evening.
Yes, Mrs. Ekundaya, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I love the way you're looking.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, and you too. Thank you. Everyone is looking fabulous. Yeah. Sochi, you have to give me a smile. I would keep on making Okay. Chinasa Amaechi is the author of the book that's going to be the foundation, lay the foundation for our discussion this evening. The title of the book is called Change Begins in the Mind. Change begins in the mind, the mindset. Now, Chinasa, I know I spoke to you yesterday and you gave me a few insights. I'd like you to share with everyone on this forum and everyone else that is listening to us why you actually wrote this book, the people that you had in mind, the target audience when you wrote this book, and what you think this book can achieve in moving Nigeria forward to a better place.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Good evening.
And thank you, Auntie Akundayo, for having me tonight. And yeah, my name is Chinasa Amaechi. Um, I'm a software engineer, and right from uni, I've always have interest in my country, Nigeria, and I had the opportunity to relocate out of this country, to pursue my dreams and all. But I decided to stay back in Nigeria. And that's because I developed my interest, for Nigeria through my father, because he started, making me have interest in leadership. And from time to time, he tells us, how we shouldn't abandon our country, or abandon our identity, just to get a green card or to be a dual citizen, and that was where my interest began, for my great country, Nigeria. And as goes on, um, I thought to myself, you know, a lot of us go to England, a lot of us go to America, Asia, and we see how well and how structured these countries are. And I say to myself, how come Nigeria cannot be this way? And I decided to do something. I decided not to be amongst the youth that just talk, but I decided to be amongst the youth that give value to my country. And that was why I wrote this book, Nigeria Change Begins in the Mind, because I felt that for us to see a better Nigeria, the change needs to start with us. And that was why I decided to put down the 6 P's, of the little things we can do as a young Nigerian to make Nigeria great. Thank you.
Well done, well done, well done. Not so many people think like you do. You obviously, this love for Nigeria is born out of a passion that is so imbibed in you, because you have to love something to be able to want to do something about it. If you don't love it, you don't care. So well done, well done, well done.
Thank you.
You had 36 P's in your book.
Yes, please.
There's so many things in the world that you could have spoken about Nigeria. What gave you the insight into those 36 P's?
Yeah, I think it was an inspiration, because I wanted to maintain a particular letter, and I chose P. And why I chose P, because at first, before I wrote this book, what came to my mind is Nigeria need peace. Nigeria need peace for us, to move ahead. We just need peace. And I just took the letter P, and I came up with patriotism. I came up with people. I came up with principles. I came up with pacts. I came up with past. I came up with prospect. I came up with perception. I came up with pride, pledge, potential, polling, politics, power, public service, preservation, precedence, perspective, publicity, plundering, probity, participation, problem solving, poverty, philanthropy, pace setting, productivity, patronage, pretense, places, paradigms, punctuality, protest, preaching, practice, prayer, prosperity.
Well done, well done, well done.
All
those P's are covering a lot of very crucial points in Nigeria, as we all know. Now, we are not going to be able to do all 36 in one day. That's not feasible.
Yeah.
So what we have decided to do on this forum is to take 6 P's per day, and we will trash them out, and God willing, we will come up with a solution. So today, we are going to be discussing past, precedent, Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to be discussing past, precedent, patriotism, people, pride, and principle. Did you all hear me?
Yes.
Did you all hear me? Okay,
Yes,
well
please.
done, well done. So all those are the 6 points that we're going to be discussing. Our main discussant for today would be Halima Nuruddin. Halima?
The 6 point I have patriotism,
Patriotism, pride, principle,
pride,
principle.
principle.
Have you got it all? Did you get it? Okay, is Halima moving right along because of time? We're conscious of time. Is Halima here? Halima Nuruddin? She's not here yet? Okay, do we have Malafa? Is she here?
Yes, Malafa is here.
Malafa, we've got Malafa. Okay, have we got Glory?
Yes, please, I'm here.
Glory. What about Emeka?
Oh, Emeka was just here. I think I saw him.
He's muted.
Oh, he's
okay.
muted.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm here.
okay. Well done.
I'm here. I'm here.
Emeka, you have to be here. You were here yesterday. You
I
can't
am actually.
disappear on us.
I am
Okay,
actually.
so we've got Malapa, we've got Emeka, and we've got who else? Glory, and we've got Chinasa. So we got our 4 for today. However, if you do have anything to interject or contribute, that doesn't stop you from raising up your hand, and you can come in as well. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Halima is somewhere here now. Halima is here now, ma'am.
Halima. Okay, Halima can join in as well. Halima can join in the panel as well. So is she set? Is she ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so we've got Halima, Emeka, Glory, and Chinasa, and Malafa. So we've got 4 people, but that doesn't stop every other person from contributing. If you would like to speak, please just raise up your hand and we will acknowledge you. Okay, do I make myself clear? Do you understand?
Very clear.
Okay, all right then. Thank you very much. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about past, precedent, people, patriotism, pride, and principle. The first topic, the first P that we're going to talk about is past. Because a person, a race that doesn't know their past or where they're coming from, would not know where they're going. Chinasa, am I right?
Yes, please.
So when we talk about past, it's talking about things that has happened in the past, maybe some of them good, some of them bad. Now, I'm talking to the discussant now.
Yeah.
Now, in your mind about Nigeria, what are the things that you can say was the good things that happened in the past that we can take in our moving forward to building a better nation? I'm throwing it out there for anybody.
All right. So I like to start. That's my name is Emeka again.
Okay.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Awesome. So yeah, if there's one thing I know, and I think I have quite a number of points to touch on regarding our past, but if there's one thing that we can take as a positive from our past, is that there was once a time where we had a collective drive,
Okay.
a collective drive to become something. All right. I
Okay.
mean, there might be undertones to that I like to point to later on, but truly, if we look at how we became an independent nation, right, the struggle that bettered us as an independent nation, yeah, that struggle is something that we can hold as a pride, something that ran across almost every university in the country, something that ran across almost every undergraduate movement in the nation. It was a almost completely youth movement that bettered our independence. And I think that's something we can take from our past. That this nation, as it is now, the entity that we enjoy as Nigeria, was bettered by a collective action of young people.
Okay.
That's something we can take from the past.
Thank you very much. That's a very good point there. Anyone else would like to say something?
Yes, I would like to talk. Hello?
Okay, go on. Go on.
Hear you.
Go on.
Okay, my name is Nender Yakubu Malafa. So I would like to talk about one good aspect that in the history of Nigeria, something that we need to look into that will bring a change in the nation when talking about impact, making impact in the society. That has to do with nationalism. So just like Emeka has spoken concerning the independence, the sacrifice that our heroes passed on, have put in place in order to see that we have a nation that are under independence and then having it from the glory that we used to have before. So I think patriotism come to play in this regards in our past. So we have a beautiful past of patriotic heroes that were willing to see the good of the nation. So it's a thing that in making impact or in making a change in our nation, I think we need to consider that as a keynote that each one of us, patriotism should be the watchword for each one of us. And how this patriotism can be achieved, it has to start from the cradle. So when I talk about cradle, it has to start with going back to students in the school, starting from early age, and then changing the mindset of them, getting to know those heroes, the stories of the heroes, and what they went through, and giving them those history will as well bring the love towards making impact even in their own time. So it's going to be like an example for them that and as we as well, then we'll make a change as regards. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Malafa. So what you were saying basically is that learning from the past, the things that our forefathers did in the past that worked well for them, and bringing that forward into the future, teaching the next generation how to run with that, if I understanding you right, which is a good point that you have made right there. Anyone else would like to contribute at this point?
Yes, please. Can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so once again, good evening, everybody. I am Halima
Good
Nureddin.
evening. Good evening.
Going by the past, good evening. Growing up, actually, I remember Nigeria had a fantastic mentoring system, okay, which actually helped a lot of youth to be able to decide what they want to do in the future and how they want to go about it. But right now, we barely even have mentors, much less of a mentoring system. So that mentoring system actually gave a lot of us some kind of hope for Nigeria, like, okay, there's something beautiful, we're fighting for something because of we see our leaders and the examples that they set for us through those mentorship processes. These are actually things that you can actually send your child safely from Kano to Jigawa to Ogun and Oyo to learn something. It can be a trade, it could be anything. But those days we were able to learn from people that were not within our ethnic circle. We were actually given a chance to understand diversity. The beauty of Nigeria is actually how diverse we are. But these days now, it's actually very, very difficult for us to even appreciate our own diversity, because we're more inclined with the issue of I want to go abroad, I want to go abroad, I want to go abroad. And our leaders and our elderly are not actually setting those examples that they used to set for us back in the days. Going by back in the days when your neighbor can actually scold you for something you're doing wrong because it's not right, trying to correct you. Right now, we don't even have that my brother's keeper kind of mentality, which was one of the main reasons why Nigeria was developing the way it was before. Because we had that brother's keeper mentality in the past. But we are losing all of that. So if we can actually go back to our reorientation, do a change of perception, better understand at what point we got it wrong, so that we can actually put back all the dots on the I's and cross all the T's. I believe that the past has left us a lot of wonderful examples that we can actually leverage on, and at the same time improve and increase our level of success. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. No, thank you. That was a beautiful point you made about sisterly and brotherly, the diversity of Nigeria, which was the beauty of our country in the past. But now everybody wants to fight for themselves. It's not about diversity anymore. It's not about doing things together anymore. Very well. Thank you. Point noted. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to speak on this before we close on this topic? Anyone else?
I would quickly like to say something, Mrs. Akundayo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a quote by Ibrahim Babangida. He said something. He said, "A society that does not correctly interpret and appreciate its past cannot understand its present fortunes and adversities, and can be caught unawares in a fast-changing world."
Okay.
And what does this mean? You know, it basically means that we as Nigerian youth, you know, because these days you go to school where they teach you the history of America, they teach you the history of United Kingdom, and neglecting our own history. And the history has been neglected for too long, and I think it's something that needs to be revisited in order to, you know, reposition us right to how we see Nigeria and to how we want Nigeria to be. Because there are some informations that are really important for us to know about our founding fathers, the sacrifices they paid, you know, the price they paid for Nigeria to be. And that to me shouldn't be neglected. And that's why I find it very offensive when the national anthem is, you know, being taken and people are walking around or all the respect is. I take it personal, and I can approach anybody, you know, in that venue and, you know, ask them to stand still and give respect to that national, you know, anthem. So it's very important we as young people, you know, intentionally, we need to find out what happened, what are the histories, you know, what happened before we were born. Because some of us here were born in the 90s, some are born in the late 80s, you know, some of us are born in the early 80s and thereabouts. So what happened between 1960 or before 1960 to 1960? It's very important we find out what happened. That will help us, you know, position our minds right, you know, when giving our own quota to make Nigeria a better place.
Thank you very much, Chinasa. Thank you. That is a very, very important point. If you don't know where you're coming from, you would never know where you're going. So it's very important that history, our history, comes back into the curriculums in the schools where they are taught about Nigeria, about, you know, the likes of the people that fought for Nigeria. What was their mindset, to borrow from the book, the title of the book? Why did they do the things they did at the time they did? Like the Awolowas, the Nnamdi Azikiwes, the all these people that fought for independence, you know, why did they do things the way they did things? The reasons, you know, I'm not sure there are many books floating around telling us about these things. I think some of the young people, or all the young people in here, that's an assignment for you to go back and research about the history of Nigeria. Before you can begin to become someone who wants to fight for Nigeria, you have to know why things happen, how they happen, what happened. And if you don't have that information, you will not be able to run with your vision. So I implore you to go back and look into the history of Nigeria.
Quickly,
Very well.
Mr. Sekundayo, please quickly, I would like to address David's iPhone and no outreach. Please, I think you need to reduce the noise in the background, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you,
You're
Chinasa.
welcome.
Now we're moving on to the next P. Somebody's phone is still interference. If your phone is giving interference, can you mute your can you please mute your mic until you sort out the problem? Thank you. I don't know whose phone it is. Somebody's phone is giving us interference. Please mute your iPhone or your phone for now. Mute your mic. All right. Thank you very much. Now, the next P that we're going to be discussing is precedent. Precedent, as we all know, is something that's happened in the past, an earlier event or action that is regarded as an example or guide to be considered in subsequent or similar circumstances. It lays a ground rule for how things would be shaped in the future. Now, some of us would say, I hear a lot from young people, and they say, oh, the older generation did not lay good examples for us. And I disagree with that. Because when I was growing up, things were a lot better than it is now. There was not so much insecurity. There was nothing like Yahoo, cyber fraud. There was nothing like kidnapping and all those kind of things. But nowadays we have those kind of things. And I'm not laying that down at the doorsteps of the youth, but I'm saying that things have evolved in some areas, in not so good areas. And the precedent that was laid down for us was good morals, honesty, integrity, confidentiality, being content with what you have. Those were the things that we grew up with. Things like whose child are you? The family name is to be protected. Those were the things that we grew up with. But nowadays, those things have been thrown in the trash can. And nowadays, it's about money and the overt love of money. But I would like to find out from this generation, my question is, do you think that the older generation has laid you a groundwork, a good precedent that you could have built on, and you didn't build on that? I'm throwing this out to the discussant now.
Okay, let me start this off. So this is Yomi Thomas. Good evening, everyone. And
good evening.
Congratulations to yourself as well for your book. I've not read your book because I don't have a copy, but from the brief that you gave, I sort of laid the path to understand exactly what the book is all about and the direction in which you're going. I remember when I was growing up, I'm sure Mr. Sekundai or some other people will remember this. There was something called War Against Indiscipline that was actually initiated by, I believe, the and I'm not sure. And I remember very well some of the rules of the land and the laws, and how Mrs. Sekundai just mentioned that when we were growing up, in those days, things were good compared to now. And until today, I'm guided by some of those disciplines that I was exposed to in my youth. There are just certain things that I cannot tolerate, certain things that you will not find me doing. I mean, when Chinasa mentioned something to the effect that they're saying, reciting the national item, you know, it just shows that there's certain ingrained behavior that is making a person to be who they are. If you're talking about war against discipline, I'm not really having to go at anyone. I just want to bring an example to life. I'm looking at everyone that is on the screen, afflict across a number of tiles, you know, and this is a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting. And the very first question I'm asking myself is that if we were meeting face to face, would we appear the way we've appeared? There are little things that are so important that you don't have those things ingrained in yourself. Then the way you approach life, the way you approach situations, the way you approach your daily existence actually shape the outcome. The environment must be right in order to have the right productivity. If you're coming for a Zoom meeting, we're talking about the use of tools, what they can do, what they can learn. How many of us have a pen and a paper to start taking note of some of the things that we're discussing that would be of relevance to myself and to yourself? If we're talking about, oh, you should go back and actually go and learn about the history of our forefathers and the sacrifices and the foundation that they laid so that we can stand upon those foundations and build. You know, how many of you have started thinking about it? So I believe that there are certain precedents that was laid then, somewhere along the line. I believe it was uprooted, and our generations of today and our youths of today have not been exposed to it. But it is also not an excuse for our youth not to learn and imbibe certain culture that would help them in the area of their calling or their career and what they need to do. So I would say, from me, that is one of the things that I believe is missing it today. And that is why, like Mr. Kundayo said, you know, in those days, there's no Yahoo or any cybercrime, etc. If some of you read my profile, I work in the security agency, and some of the crimes that we see on a daily basis, that we investigate on a daily basis, they're just shocking. They're really shocking. And you sit down and you think, what has led to this? Because people like you and me, even youth, who have a brighter future, who are more exposed, who have more, I mean, when we were growing up, laptop was a luxury. Having online courses was a luxury. We didn't have those infrastructure then. You have a better way to learn. You have a better way to acquire knowledge, but that is not being seen and cultivated in the way that I believe we should see it. So I would say that is one of the things that I see, and I can say that is missing to this generation.
Okay, I would like Gloria to say something.
Yes, I would like to say something. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chinasa. Thank you, Okuyomi, for the contribution. Okay, so I would like to put my comment in a perspective, right? But I will just lay the foundation that I hope we can all hear me. Can everybody hear me?
Yes, please.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah, so I believe that every generation have their errors. Every generation have their flaws. So our fathers have their flaws, and we as youths, we have our flaws too. So I wouldn't want to say that our fathers did a great job in laying a fantastic foundation. So I remember when I was in university as an undergraduate, where we read books where women were not expected to speak in certain environments, where some very, ridiculous cultures were being promoted and all of that, but currently we have such cultures being eroded, and we have more equity amongst genders, right? Okay, so every generation have their flaws, but whatever it is, I believe that your past or your precedent shouldn't be the foundation in which you establish your future. Okay, so wherever you're coming from shouldn't be the foundation in which your future is being established. Now, it is important that your future. Oh, there are a lot of noise coming from the background. A lot. I can barely hear myself.
Sorry, can I just, sorry, Daniel. Can we, if you know that there's noise in your background, can you mute your speaker for now, please, and sort out the noise? Kindly sort out the noise or move to a place where it's a lot quieter. Thank you. All right.
Okay, yes. So thank you very much, Mrs. Ekundayo. So as I was saying, so I think, or I believe, and I'm saying I believe because I have practiced it and I'm still practicing it and it has worked for me. So what should determine your steps should be your current problem or your current situation, right? It's important that, yes, we don't forget the past, but in considering the future, you must look at the now, okay? Yes, put the past in perspective, but look at it now. Let me just share a bit of my experience. Okay, so growing up was a bit tough. It was a bit unpredictable. Like I didn't know what the future would tell for me after secondary school, because I was in a very rural environment. Went to a government school where you have to, they call it fly fence. You have to fly the fence. We were not so call about attending classes and all of that, but it was for me, as soon as I said, I was really concerned about the nation. For I was passionate, or I'm still passionate about education, and it was something that growing up in the government school I was asking myself, wow, how about my mates who are in private schools? They teach them so well. They wear beautiful school uniform. My uniform was scrubby. My sandal would be dirty, I'm just attending classes because I had to go to class, but I just knew that there was a lot I needed to do in my future, so I had to stay in class. But coming out of the classroom, I didn't let that determine what the future would have for me, so it wasn't rosy, but I did not look at my past to determine what my future would look like. So I had the future in mind, but I determined that based on my present, situation, and just knew that I needed to do something about it. So no generation is perfect. Our parents made their mistake as youths, or making our mistakes too. But I always say that what goes around comes around. Whether what we're making, the bullying, the rape, and all the things Okoyomi mentioned, I just always pray that it wouldn't come to it won't be worse. When we do better, our children wouldn't experience worse things. So whatever you're doing now, consider the present and the future. The past has gone, let it just be there.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. I have something to say, Mrs. Ekundayo. I'm sorry.
Okay, go on.
Mr. Yomi, thank you so much for your contribution. I'm sorry, I just went directly to ask Gloria to say something. Thank you so much for that contribution, Mr. Yomi. And Gloria, thank you so much for that contribution.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Another thing, I just want to make some contributions, as young people, if we were to go by, I was a bit I was taken aback when Mr. Yomi said in their time, I don't know, maybe Mr. Yomi was born in the 70s or something,
Ask that kind of question.
Okay, I just want to say something like Gloria said, we don't need to dwell in the past, but we need to look at the past, for us to know where we're going to. Because if we were to go by blames, I don't think we'll arrive at anything, right? And I would say this generation has done tremendously well, in the sense that they've taken risks that people of the old were not able to take. And they change the narrative, especially when it comes to the social media, trying to use social media as a tool, to bring so many atrocities, to book, right? And they were able to, they've been able to, use social media to change a lot of narrative of things that are not right in Nigeria. And these were things that in our father's time or our mother's time, they would just sweep it under the carpet. And, this generation as well has also, exposed the importance of ICT, in terms of, using technology to advance a lot of systems and structures, especially in Nigeria. So I think they should be given a kudos for that, Even in our parents' days, there were a lot of bad things that took place then. There were a lot of killings and what have you. But those things were swept under the carpet because there were no social media to expose most of these things. So I think this generation has, they are doing well and we continue to do well. And for the presidents as a topic, is you have to be the change you want to see. A lot of young people they're outside this country. They have one or two fears, in coming back to Nigeria. But that doesn't stop us to do what is right as Nigerians, because nobody would view this country for us. It's our civic responsibility as young people, to begin to pay the price, to begin to do our own bit. As a young person, what are you doing in your community, to bring about the change you want to see? And when I say change, I'm not talking about APC here, or I'm not talking about PDP. I'm talking about change as a word, right? Because even as an individual, before you get married as a young girl, you have to begin to work on yourself. You have to begin to do what I call a personal branding, if you have, if I would put it that way. Even as a young man, you must start to groom yourself to be the man you want to be. So there's so much effort we need to put in ourselves, to be the change we want to see. And as a country, I'm proud to travel with my green passport. I wouldn't even allow anyone to talk me down at the airport, because that airport will come down that day. Do you understand? So as an individual, we need to be the change we want to see. What are you doing when no one is watching you? What good price are you paying? When they give you bribe, when they give you bribe to do things, are you standing, for integrity in your workplace? Are you standing for integrity? Like when I wrote this book, I was giving some amount of money, to give this book to some particular institutions, but I turned it down. I received a lot of insults for that. Some people called me fool. They said all sorts, that I should have collected the money and write another book. But I said no. What was I looking at? I was looking at the value and the impact this book should have on the youth, on generations to come. I didn't want to eat my future now by collecting that money, but I wanted this book to be in the hands of every Nigerian, both in Nigeria and in diaspora, because no matter how well or how long you live outside this country, there comes a time when they will remind you that you are not part of them. You just have to come back to your country. And it's happening right now. So we have to be that change we want to see. We just have to be it. In any little space we find ourselves, we have to do what is right. We have to set the pace, and we have to just make this country great again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chinasa. Thank you for that contribution. Thank you so much. Glory, I would like to address what you said earlier on. What you need to understand is personal experience is different from a national experience. National experience is different from global experience. Your experience is your individual experience. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's the experience of every other Nigerian. And that doesn't mean that it's the experience of the whole of Nigeria. That is what you had to encounter in your personal life. So things are different for everyone. When we're talking about Nigeria, we're talking about a national issue here, not just about one person's experience. That's what I just wanted to point out there. Thank you so much, Chinasa, for that. Can I just ask, as we are moving on to the next P, which is people, before we move on to people, I would like to ask every single one of us to talk about the title of the book is Change Begins in the Mind. And in one sentence, we would go around everyone. What would your change be in your mind for Nigeria? Let's start with Chinasa, who is the author of the book.
Okay, for me, I feel the first thing, for me is patriotism.
Patriotism.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the change for me.
Okay, so yours will be patriotism, the love of the country. Yeah. Okay, the next person, somebody else? Rebecca, what would your change be?
I think that I would also go with patriotism. For the love of country, really. So from there, we can then move to being able to bring change to the country that we say that we love.
Okay. All right. Emeka, is Emeka still here? Emeka,
Yeah, I'm still here.
What would your change be?
I think I would stick with principle, and I would explain that as we progress. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Sochi, your change would be?
My change would be pride.
Pride. Okay.
Or, you know, like, especially like the youth to have pride in our country and have the sense that, okay, like things will get better.
Okay. Malafa, your change would be? Is Malafa still here? Okay, Malafa is not here. Olauton. Olauton's mic is not on. It's not live. People need to unmute their mic so that they can hear what we're saying.
We're hearing.
Olauton, what would your change for Nigeria? What would your change be?
What would my change for Nigeria be?
Yes, what would you like?
Okay, I mean, I believe one of the biggest places that we need change is the health sector, right? Improved, like more availability of knowledge for people. A lot of people have like health problems due to lack of information, right? Okay. Or lack of basic social amenities. Some people, it can be high cases, like high cases of tuberculosis, high cases of dysentery, high cases of cholera, just because they don't have good, clean, potable water, or because people do not know the right food groups to take, and in what kind of and in ways in which they can process their food and improve like their food security. Okay. Yeah, so with that, I mean, more town hall meetings where people are brought together, right, to be given first-hand knowledge by professionals, by people that are experts in these fields, right, and them hearing it firsthand and being able to understand it in whatever language it is that they can understand it in is a big move that can be made to change like the current situation of the country, at least in health matters.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. David's phone. David's phone. Can we unmute their mics, please? Can we unmute people's mics, please? Their mics are muted. Can we unmute people's mics, please? All right, David's phone, what would your change be?
Hello.
What would your change be for Nigeria? What would your change be?
My name is we've been taught and raised that we should love one another as we love ourselves. And I believe for a real change, we actually need to break self. We should stop
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay, I think we would have to move on to the next P on the agenda. And the next P will be people. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mom.
Everyone else's mics is muted. You can need to mute them. Sorry. So we're now going to go on to the next P, which is people. I would love Chinasa to take us lead on this one.
Okay. When I say people, you know, I have a quote for that. A functioning, robust democracy requires a healthy, educated, participatory fellowship and an educated, morally grounded leadership. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I said a functioning, robust democracy requires a healthy, educated, participatory fellowship and an educated, morally grounded leadership. Chinasa Achebe. That's the quote by Chinasa Achebe. And it's basically talking about refine your personality. What determines the greatness of a nation is not their geographical location, but their mental orientation. That is, the direction in which their thoughts, interests, or tendencies lie. It is not the quality of their terrain, but the quality of their people that matters most. If a nation is in prosperity, it is because the people are productive. But if their land is in ruins, it is because the people are reckless. For a nation, if a nation is advanced, it is because the people are intelligent and hardworking. But if a nation is backward, it is because the people are dull and laid back. The state of any nation is therefore a clear reflection of the state of the minds of its people. Whether the nation is united or divided, advanced or backward, fruitful or barren, it depends on the state of the minds of the people. A nation will always move in the direction of the collective thoughts. If a nation therefore must experience positive change, the process must begin in the minds of its people. Every individual must take up the responsibility, improving himself constantly by refining his thoughts and character, and ultimately his personality.
So do you want to talk us through that?
Yes. So what this is basically talking about is personal, you working on yourself personally, adding values to yourself on a daily basis as an individual, as a young person. You need to add values to yourself. I lost my parents, at a very tender age. And I have a mother right now, and she's very stern when it comes to how I dress or how I talk. And she's very keen on feedbacks. And one day I was so upset and I had to ask her, I said, "Oh, why are you always picking on me? Other people will do things, you overlook it, but when I do things, you just..." And she told me, she said, "Chinasa, you will know this when time comes." In fact, sometimes when we want to go out and I dress up, she will have to send me back to go and redress. And today I'm used to that. And I understand better now what she was doing. She was basically grooming me into the woman, she wants me to be. And also as a youth, we need to intentionally work on our character, because it's very important because these days, your certificates don't really open doors per se, but referrals and your good behavior goes before you like a smoke. Even as young girls, you know, I've been seeing this trend of rape going about. And I've intentionally not want to talk about it because from my own perspective, you know, I might be misunderstood. But the thing is, as a young girl, you have to be properly dressed because you have to dress the way you want to be addressed. You don't need to be naked to be accepted.
Yes.
You don't need to be naked to be beautiful. So you have to represent what you want to be known for. And our parents have done their bit. It's our own responsibility to implement all the morals our parents have inculcated in us. So if you're a young person out there, you are not breaking the ceilings, you have yourself to blame. And we are not in the area of blames anymore. We are in the areas where you have to take the bull by the horn and make your life what you want it to be. And as Nigeria, or as a Nigerian, or as Nigeria as a nation, we have to be intentional, you know, in representing this country, inside this country, and also outside this country. And how do we do that? By the way we carry ourselves, the level of information we have at our disposal, and the way we respect even our elders. You find some young people at maybe at events, they are sitting, they see older people, they don't even get up for those older people to sit. Maybe they are at a train station and you see old people standing, you don't get up for them to sit down. Or you see pregnant women, you know, you don't help them out. We have to change such mindset. That's why we need to work on ourselves for Nigeria to be a better place. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyone has any addition to say to that?
Can I come back, please?
Yes.
It's one of my favorite pieces. Because I'm a great believer in how you train, build, interact with people. I remember there was something that Mrs. Sekundayo and I were chatting about some few years ago, and she mentioned, she made a statement that has stayed with me, you know, till today. That it is time we stop building people, and it's time we stop building buildings and start building people.
Correct.
Two aspects that I would really like to more or less support what Chinasa said. Number one, your character. I cannot but stress this as youth, that your character will open doors that your CVs cannot open. And that is to
That's right. That's right.
Whether you are in Nigeria, whether you are in UK, whether in US, it makes no difference at all. And let your character be like a perfume. There's a perfume that I was introduced to about 5, 6 years ago. The worth of that perfume until one day, I mean, my office is on the 7th, and I have a colleague who is on the ground floor. And the colleague said that he immediately entered the lift floor. I was in the building. All you had to do was to come home. And that is what your character is. Wherever you go to, you remember you for the way you do things, for the way you interact with people, the courteousness, the respect. Very, very important. And that is another, that is one of the things that I think is missing. Someone just once said to me, and it's so true, dress is the way people will express. The way you dress in terms of your physical appearance, in terms of your character, in terms of your mannerism, that is how people will address you. And that is, I mean, I'm doing right. I never got into was just someone that remembered me and my work ethics at work in my former job that just said, look, there's one person that I know that if you get him in, he will do the job for you. And that was how I got my job. And 2, 3 years later, I'm still there doing what I'm doing and what I know best. So please let us really hone in on that. You know, hard skills are important, definitely, but there are some softer skills, which is your mannerism, that are so important. And if you can just balance it, see that you will go a long way. Thank you.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Okay, can I say something?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I'm a soft skills consultant actually. So people are the most important resources that we need to make progress or to succeed. So if you are not a people person, it's something at this point in this 21st century, you need to work at it. But being a people person doesn't mean you go ahead pleasing everybody. Like Uncle Yomi mentioned, there are so many soft skills you could learn, you know, to ensure that you are likable at every point. Because many look at the person, you know if this is someone you like or would want to, you know, associate with. One, your looks are really important. I don't mean like all the makeup and all of this stuff. So as youth, it's important that you look good at every situation. You know, Miss Chinasa mentioned being decent. Yeah, that's very important. Your looks are really key. So I don't want to go into the soft skills of jobs and everything, how you dress for job interviews, how you talk, you know, how you address people, your facial expressions, you know, and all of that. Yeah, so that makes you a people person. You know, watching all of these things would open a lot of doors.
Can I just say one more thing that I forgot to say? Just to comment, I can see an handle, it's called 2020. I can see mommy and her 3 children. Now, I've been particularly interested in this particular handle because I remember when we started, I know how the children told them you need to quickly go and dress up, look presentable, which is again, you know, what Gloria just mentioned. And I can see her taking notes as well. I believe he's taking notes. So that is leading by example. That is someone that understands that, look, you know, what is being taught here, what information is being shared there is something that not only my children can learn, but I can learn, and I have to show an example and make sure that we're all in the right and, you know, and do 2020 on that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. We're going to move on to patriotism now. Chinasa, in your book, you mentioned that patriotism is to love your country despite its failings and despite its failings and to stand in hope. You also said patriotism is loyalty to principle. Now, patriotism, if we just to look at it on the surface, it's love of country. Now, you said in your book that if you don't love your country, that is when things like you start thinking bad things towards your country, you don't care, insecurity happens, all this other negativity happens, impunity to justice, corruption, which is not leading to integrity, non-accountability, all those bad things happen. Now, how do you make someone, in light of your book, how do you make someone love their country if they have, say for instance, somebody has a negative feeling about the country or due to past experience, it's hard for them to love the country?
Okay, how do I make them love my country?
Yeah.
Okay, it's simple. That's because I do not have another country to call my own. The only country I have is Nigeria. Some of us here, we are dual citizens. Some of us are Nigerians, Americans, British, you know, what have you. But I have no other responsibility than to love my country, Nigeria. Because Nigeria to me is the best kept secret to God. And Nigeria is is the best country in the world, you know, and I want to be part of this great country. And that's why I will employ every young Nigerian in diaspora to look beyond the negativity, the bad news, the news, every negative news on a daily basis on CNN, because CNN can interpret my country best for me because they are not Nigerians, they are Americans, right? And BBC will not interpret Nigeria best to me or for me because they are British. So the best person to interpret Nigeria, it's you and I being Nigerians. And that's why I would really thank my auntie, sorry to mention her, Auntie Mo Abudu. She's doing a fantastic job by changing the narrative of Nigeria outside Nigeria. We just have to do it. And that's why my brothers and sisters outside the country, you can be in America, you can be in England for 40, 50 years, but there's no place like home. There's no place like Nigeria. Nigeria is where I can spread my wings, I can be happy, I can, join the system and contribute my own quota to make Nigeria great. Thank you.
Thank you. Also, Chinasa, you said in your book, you wrote a quote from a Roman philosopher.
Yeah.
Men love their country, not because it is great, but because they love their country. Now, that's a saying that you have put in the book, not because it is great. But some people are looking at the country and all they want to see is the greatness. How are you going to convince them?
Okay. The little way I can convince them is Nigeria is like a baby that is trying to find her feet.
Yes.
Right? And when a child is trying to find her feet, the child gets some bruises there and there, gets some injuries there and there. But those injuries shouldn't define who the child should be. We're in our teething period right now. I think America is over 270 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Other countries are way ahead of us. But I believe that Nigeria will be a country that other countries will want to reckon with in years to come. And for that to happen, every young person needs to participate, needs to get involved in your own little way. And that's why we need to shun corruption. That's why we need to shun quick making of money. You can see what is happening to Hush Puppy today. If you are a fan of Hush Puppy, hey, I just want to tell us that that's not the right way to get rich, because riches takes time. I have a lot of mentors, in every institutions that it took them years to be where they are today. One of them is Mr. Fashola. I'm not saying it because I'm a very good critic, but this is a man that has shown examples in every work he has found himself. We have the likes of Mrs. Bola Adeshola of Standard Chartered. She's a Nigerian. We have the likes of Mrs. Ibukwa Woshika. She's a Nigerian. We have the likes of Mrs. Adiola Aziz of Deutsche Bank in Nigeria. She's a Nigerian. We have someone called Mrs. Ekaito Okoro. She's a Nigerian. These are women that change narratives when they found themselves in, with opportunities. We have a lot of them. So I think we should emulate those good values instead of, emulating the likes of, I don't want to mention names, but, those big, I don't want to mention names again.
It's only your dad.
But we should emulate good things, we should emulate good values, so that when we stand, in the corridors of power or anywhere we find ourselves in the world, I can be bold to tell you that I'm a Nigerian. Bill Clinton said something some years ago. He said, Nigerians are very fantastic people. He said they're extremely intelligent, and you can't take that away from us. And we have Nigerians, doing well outside this country. In the US today, we have the highest PhD holders are Nigerians. The highest graduates in their universities are Nigerians. So we still have good values. So I will employ us to do more and shun, because there was a time we invited Kirk Williams to Nigeria. He's a Grammy Award winning saxophonist. And when he came to Nigeria, he was like, whoa, Americans are not doing well at all. He's an American. And I asked him why. He said the way they painted Nigeria was too bad. And that he likes the fact that he came to Nigeria and he bought 64 copies of my book. And guess what? He asked me to remove the name Nigeria on the book and leave it as Change Begins in the Mind. Hey, I was like, okay, thank you, Ekushe. But it goes to show that, we are doing things well, but we just need to increase the pace in which we are doing it. Okay. Don't be intimidated by anybody. You don't need to speak Fune to be accepted. Hey, that's right. The world is changing, is evolving. What the world needs is your value. The world is no longer interested in if you scored in Harvard or if you scored in Oxford. Yes, it's another advantage, but what the world is looking for is the value. What values do you have? What values do you have to give? So we should be intentional in working on ourselves and adding values to ourselves, because opportunities can come anytime. I was privileged to sit with the former president of this country, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, and he said something. He said that time has come where before maybe they appoint you or call you for something, they will go to your community to ask who you are, what you've been doing. And that got to me. So what are you doing in your community as a young person? I remember a time some years ago, I was with Mrs. Fashola and she told me something. She said, Chinasa, to bury anybody in power, even Lasma, that goes against the traffic rule. He said, as in just do something. I will support you. In fact, there was a day I was on the road and I saw government officials, beating traffic lights. I stepped down from my car and I stood in front of the car and I told them that they can hit me. And they came down. I said, yes, Mrs. Fashola asked me to do this. This is wrong. Because if it's an average Nigerian that did this, that person will be locked up. So you people have no right to create the rules and break the rules. So in our own little quarters, in our own little space, what are you doing? The local government chairman in your area, do you know them? Go to them. The councillors, do you know them? Go to them. Ask them questions. What are they doing? What have they done? What do they intend to do? And what values do you have for them as well to add to them to make Nigeria a better place? Sometimes when I'm in a car and someone eats and throw on the road, I come down to challenge them. In fact, there was a woman I challenged. I said, I believe you traveled to the UK. She was like, Ma bino komi, jo ma bino. I said, you don't litter the roads. So these are the things, we need to do. Even if you're in a public bus and somebody eats and throws out from the bus, you have every right to stop that bus or to harass that person not to do it. It has to be a conscious effort. It has to be intentional for us to see, yes, are they bad eggs? Yes. But the more we increase the pace of integrity, of responsibility, then those bad eggs will begin to reduce and the good ones will begin to increase. And by so doing, give us extra 50 years from now. Some of us will be old, some of us will be 60, some of us will be 80, some of us will be 20, like that. And Nigeria will be a better place. And look at the
Okay,
life of
Chinasa.
Christopher Kolade that did my book forward. For those of us that don't know him, you have to go and read up about him. He's a man that has laid the foundation for good work ethics, for integrity. So we need to follow such things. Look at the likes of Mrs. Fashola. Go and read about her. These are people that have laid the foundation. We need to, that's why I said this book is not about APC, please. It's not about PDP.
Okay, Chinasa, I'm sure if we allow you, you can go on till tomorrow morning because of your passion. And thank you very much for your contributions. We have to be conscious of time at this point. We've still got pride and principles to go. Having pride in your nation. Pride is described as confidence and self-respect expressed by members of a group. Now, how much confidence do we have as Nigerians in ourselves? Some of us, as Chinasa, your story today, some of us hide the green passport in our bags because we don't want to be tagged as Nigerians, fraudulent or some other negativity going on there. But time has come for us to be very, very proud of our passports and who we are. Is there anybody that would like to speak on pride? Any contributions?
Yeah, I want to give an example of something that happened to me some years ago. And I'm
We
sure
have to be time conscious.
Yes, I'll just give an example just to to express the pride. I had an opportunity to work for the government that allows me to see, up to great document. Went for the interview, did the interview successfully. They introduced me to my colleagues and they said, Yomi, you will start on Monday. However, they now realized that I'm dual citizen and I have a green passport. And they called me and they said, okay, you've already done the interview, we'll give it to you. The only problem is that you have a Nigerian passport. So can you renounce your citizenship and hold on to it? And I looked at it, never happened. That is pride. It's not about the money. It's not about the accolades. It's not about the fact that, you move in certain, circles or certain clusters. It is having that pride within yourself. Just like we read, the last 10, 15 minutes, how, Chinasa was talking, and all you can see, if I'm just is someone who's very passionate about her country. And irrespective of where she is, she will always let you know that she's Nigerian. End of story. Reminds me of Fela Durote, who is also exactly. Fela is, not name dropping, but Fela is a good friend of mine. Fela, being around Fela, you will know him. It doesn't care wherever you are. If you have a pride in your country, irrespective of what the circumstances is, I mean, like Chinasa said, you don't change your tone because I'm in UK or I'm in US. I don't change my name to Yomi to Yomite or to Abayomi. If you expect me to pronounce that is so difficult, then you pronounce my name as well. I don't need to change my tone. I've been here for how many years now, not saying it, but my tone is still my tone. I don't speak through my nose. You see me, and that is pride. I am very, very, passionate about my country. I love my country. And one of the other things that I also do as well, because opportunity affords you, various environments. Every that one has been able to acquire. It's a matter of how can I bring it to my country and help develop my country.
Okay, we'll have to move along. Sorry, I have to stop you there. Is there anybody that would like to ask a question or contribute to what we've said so far? Anybody that would like to ask a question or contribute to what we've said so far?
I think Sochi wants to say something, but she's being muted or something.
We need to unmute everybody. We need to unmute everybody, please.
Oh no, okay. Can everyone hear me?
Yes,
yes, we can, Sochi.
So about pride, something that I wanted.
I have done that. I have done, and have doing. Sochi, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
Okay, because I'm hearing your background noise. Something that I wanted to say about pride is that there's, I wouldn't say false. A lot of people that haven't left Nigeria, for example, like there's like some misinformation about from people who have they have this image that the only place that has urban areas and that's something that
Hello.
Can we mute everyone else apart from the person speaking, please?
Yes, please. Yes,
sorry about this, Sochi. Can we mute everyone else, please?
Except for Sochi that is talking, please.
Except for Sochi that is talking. Only the speaker that is talking should be on mute. Everybody else should be muted. There's still some activity going on in the background somewhere. Can we mute everyone else, please? The noise is coming from somewhere. Okay, I need to mute you. Victoria needs to be muted. Thank you. Okay, Sochi, we can hear you now. Sorry about that.
That's okay. What I was saying is that there's this like this. For example, some people who have not.
Can we mute David's phone, please? David's phone needs to be muted. Victoria needs to be muted. David's phone needs to be muted. There's still some. Can we unmute Sochi, please? All right, Sochi, sorry about that.
Yeah. What I was saying before is that there's this like, for example, for those who haven't left Nigeria, they kind of like the information that they receive from people who have left abroad, maybe they paint outside of the country in some sort of way that makes you, feel like, oh my God, every other country is doing better. Nigeria is the only one that's like this. But then when those people actually leave, some people, they don't even go to the places in those countries that are struggling. They may only go for a few months and then come back, and then they'll be telling you a story as if it's the global or like that whole story. But that's not indeed the case. There are some places that you will go to and you'll be like, even the people there, they have not addressed that issue, but they'll paint the good side as the only thing that's going on. And another thing is it's kind of amusing to me that the same people who come into the country from elsewhere, they stay here, they stay in Nigeria, they raise their children in Nigeria, and they'll only go back to their home countries to visit family and then come back to Nigeria. Meanwhile, they're not Nigerians. So you should really say something to people like, okay, why are these people, what do they find in Nigeria that makes them want to come and set roots?
Thank you. Thank you, Sochi. Thank you for that contribution. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to contribute? Anyone?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would like to.
Okay, David's phone. Go on. Go on, we can hear you.
About how to help the society. Firstly, where I stay, I stay in an orphanage home, and the home is all about. It's just is an empowerment home. It helps me on how to value to myself daily, and so many tactics about the house. So the home, we do so many things in the home. Bible reading, growing, teaching us and growing in the way of the Lord, the way we dress, the way we talk, adding values every day of our lives, and adding to the society. Explicitly, we help through the things we get, through the palliatives we get from outsiders, from the supporters, our sponsors. We help the society through that, and also we help the society also by bringing in more people. Before the lockdown, just like 2 weeks before the lockdown, we received 2 more people in the house, in the home. And when you are new in the home, we have the escorts, like the executives in the homes that bring up those new ones in the way, just like the way I was brought up too. We teach them in so many ways, mentor them in so many ways, reading of the word and so many things. And also this about there are so many things that our parents have I will say they've missed, like the same tactics, like go to school, but that's just not it. It's just about your talent, playing football and so many things, reading, sewing and so many things, so many crafts like hair doing and so many things that you can do, not just about education or reading. So many, the same ways that it has been going, go to school, get married, finish, graduate and just get married, I have a good job. No, it's just about what you can do, your creativity, what you can create to help you grow in that way. So many things like that. And also about that's just about the home, and I'm very glad I'm in that home. It has been a lot, and it has been helping me a lot, and that has also made me to know that I've been on a way to add value to myself, and that has also given me a big hope that I can bring in more people, like having that kind of art, and to improve, to bring in more people to help those the way I've been helped. That will also help the society, I think. Thank you.
Video. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, Florentina would like to say something. Can we unmute Florentina, please? Before we go, I think Florentina would be the last one we would take. Okay, Florentina, we can hear you.
Everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yes, I want to thank the organizers of this thing. It's beyond what we think it is actually, because this is what we need. Since the very beginning, I've been trying to speak, but I thank you for, I think it's just divine. Because the 6 P's you mentioned, from the past, patriotism, people, pride, and principle, they are all interlinked. They are very interlinked. See, you talked about something about the past. What we Nigerians, what we had in the past, we didn't really value it. And that's something I noticed about there's no maintenance still at all. You see, what is beautiful about Nigeria is our culture. We lost that. And now you moved on to talking about leadership. Leadership and how and what happened. Why is it that the ones in the past and the ones in present, they are not corresponding? Because there was no proper handing over. You see, Permit me to quote from my faith. The Bible says, when the
Okay.
foundation is destroyed, what can the righteous do?
Yes.
You see, these wealthy folks, you know what they do? When their children, they'll send them abroad. Nobody for them to take over from or anything like that. All their children will go study abroad and everything. Nobody to pass on rightly to. And secondly, you talked about why is it that other countries, they love other countries, but what can they love about Nigerians? Because Nigeria, they always say, okay, there's this, there's that. It's very simple. What does the other country? They have things that you can actually see and believe in.
Mm.
Their economy, for instance, their government, everything about their country, you can see, seeing is believing. Fine. When they talk about Nigeria, the first thing they talk about is, okay, our corruption or all that. But it's beyond that. Nigeria is a beautiful land, but we ourselves, we don't love ourselves. How can we now make people love us? You understand? When everything, we want to start anything, the wealthy, they keep pumping money out there. Okay, look at this instance of this Corona era now. Some people cannot even, all their hopes in traveling abroad, no facility to take care of the things that they need here. Secondly, you were talking about passing on tree. Look, what we don't have is mentorship. Mentorship, and that is very important value. Auntie Chi was talking about her parents and all that, and because she had somebody she could look up to and pass on to. I'm the executive director of Explicit Home. It's an empowerment home where we pick children from the street, humble and dark background, from orphans, people with single parents, people with parents at all. We bring them together, start training them in value and adding virtues to their life. Because what their parents actually could not do, it's not like every other home. That, you know what, let me tell you, the truth about other homes is somebody very wealthy with a vision built a home, or you give an old woman money, or you take care of them, food. It's beyond food. They need life. And that is what we do here. Life. It's not about going to school. What the detriment of school nowadays is worse, that the effect on individuals is very worse, because some parents, they think they know their children, but what they are in school is actually different. Totally different from what they are. So it's beyond the four walls of school. It is life, giving life to every individual. What can you actually do with your hand? What do you have that you can offer? Beyond your certificate. Although school is very important, but it is beyond that. Anybody can buy any certificate, but individual, personal discipline, etc., etc. People, see, let me tell you, the thing is, the change actually it starts from we, individuals. Love one another as you love yourself. When people stop amassing wealth for self alone, they should break the wall of self. You see, that was the first thing. Who are you actually when nobody's watching you? You see, a renowned musician says, the change starts from the man in the mirror. In our homes, how are we? We come outside and we dress beautifully. We hide in the facade of makeup and dressing. Some parents, all they do is, oh yeah, I have money, send you out and send you out. But is the money actually the training of the children? No. You should not neglect the today activities and not forget about everything like that. So I believe the change starts from individuals.
Florentina.
Yes,
Secondary, sorry, I have something to contribute.
Oh, go on. Yes.
Yeah. Florentina, that's your name, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
As we're talking, what came to mind is, you're going to head one of the groups, one of the community groups we're going to set up.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, because I can see you actually spoke my heart, right? And these were part of the things, I told Mrs. Ekundayo that God permits us, to live long by God's grace, there will be an institution or a law in this country that if you're in power, your children mustn't school outside this country. Your children must school in this country. Because like you said, this pandemic has revealed, the weakness, the loopholes in our health system, right? And that's why, because the pandemic is worse outside this country, that's why you see some Nigerians, in power still in this country. If not, they would have flown out to go and treat themselves because they have some money, somewhere, So that's also what we're advocating for, that for you to be in public service of office, to do things in this country, maybe as a senator or any institution where you find this, your children must school in this country, because by so doing, they will look into the educational system of this country. Because there was a time I read, and my parents told me that there was a time in Nigeria where people all over the world comes to Nigeria to school, to study. People even come to Nigeria to give birth. But today we have people, go to borrow money just to give birth in America. And thank God for Trump, because God answered my prayer. Yeah, some years ago, I was invited by your CEO's forum, and I was the youngest in that meeting. And I told them, they were just talking. I said, please, can we leave Trump and talk about our own Muhammadu Buhari here in this country and face our own problems, right? And I told them, I said, even if you have a blue passport, you cannot still be on the same right level with a white American. And the earlier we start, living according to our means, and stop borrowing money to go for a summer or to send our children abroad. Yeah, if you have the means, if you have a good job to send your children to school abroad, it's fine. But we shouldn't see it as elitist. We shouldn't see it like, oh, if you don't school outside this country, you are nobody. That should end. That is also one of the things we need to advocate for. Because if you watch and see the Minister for Education, Adamu, go and read about him. The guy even has no interest in the Nigerian education. You see, there was this video about most of the people in power. All their children are just graduating, maybe University of Hull or maybe University of Manchester and what have you. And you see some companies in this country, once you don't school outside this country, they won't employ you, or even if they employ you, they won't promote you. So these are some of the things that we need to fight. Because what happens to the Obafemi Awolowo University, what happens to University of Lagos, what happens to University of Nsukka. So we need to uphold and restore the glory of these institutions, of these universities in this country. Because our vice president school attended University of Lagos. Although I don't know the school our president attended, right? But we have the likes of other people that schooled in Obafemi Awolowo and the likes of you. So if those people can become something in this country, I think we need to restore the hope of this, because it baffles me when I see Ghana, coming to advertise their universities in Nigeria. And I'm like, where have we gone wrong? Where have we gone wrong? So we need to restore the pride of our institutions, of our university, and stop going bankrupt just because we want to send our children to school abroad. If you're comfortable and you have a good job, fine. There's no harm in giving your children the exposure they want, but not at the detriment of the values and the principle and the integrity of building these institutions in Nigeria. So we have a lot to do as young people.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chinasa. Thank you. We won't be able to take any more contributions because of time factor. However, we'll pick up on the next session that we have when we come together again. Thank you very much, everyone. Chinasa, do you have any last words that you like to say in one sentence?
Okay. In one sentence, Mrs. Ekunda, I love you so much. Thank you so much. And for those of us that don't understand our languages, please let's be intentional. If you are Yoruba or Igbo or Hausa, please let's learn our languages. It's very important. And lastly, same time tomorrow, please tune in, tell others. And lastly, at the end of this section, we are going to choose, we are going to form a group of people, you come up with a project in your community, we look into it, and the best that comes up with the best project, we're going to, push it in our own little way. And by so doing, we'll start, setting the pace for others to follow. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chinasa. Thank you very much. The author of the book that we've been reviewing today, Change Begins in the Mind. It's a book that's driving Nigeria forward. We thank you very much. We will be on same time, same place tomorrow, 8 o'clock. We'll be on here as well. And we'll be happy to have you all join us tomorrow as we forge ahead in ways to bring Nigeria to a better place. The change begins in our minds, every one of us. We're going to close now by singing, by reciting the Nigerian pledge. We're all ready?
Excuse me, Mrs. Secretary. I think Grandma Bola Duarte, I think she wants to say something. I'm just going to unmute her so that
okay.
She's the one that
We
is.
have a grandma in the house. Woo!
Yes.
Welcome,
Grandma. We love you, Grandma.
How are you doing, folks?
We're doing well, ma. We're doing well, ma. Nice to have you among us.
Thank you so much, all the way from Ibadan, Oyo State.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Here with me are some of the youths here. And honestly, I'm so happy to be part of you this evening. And I promise to be with you tomorrow and next tomorrow.
Thank
you,
ma.
To have a copy of your book, because I love to have a copy of your book. That is the type of book we need at this time and at this season. So I'll be very happy if I can have a copy and let me know the cost implications.
You will get it, ma. Yes,
okay.
Ma, you will get it, ma.
Hi, everybody. I love you. I'm so happy to be part of it.
We love you, ma. We love
you. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much.
God bless you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Everyone, ma. Thank you so
much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, so we will now take the national pledge and close for today and see everybody tomorrow. So I pledge to Nigeria, my country,
to be faithful, loyal, and honest,
to serve
Nigeria with all my strength,
to defend our
unity, and
uphold
our honor and glory.
So help me God. Amen. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you,
Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank
you, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Yomi.
Thank you.
Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.